everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I wanted to talk about gatekeeping in technology. So gatekeeping is defined as controlling and often limiting general access to something. Now, gatekeeping is not something that is specific to technology. There's gatekeeping in so many fields, like fitness, things designed for only certain body types, or healthcare, certain treatments available after X amount of other treatments. So many things are being gate kept, right? So gatekeeping happens for so many reasons. Conscious decisions, unconscious bias, societal, political, financial, and so on. So there's a lot of reasons behind it. They're not all applied at the same time usually, but there's a lot of reasons for that. There are many forms of gatekeeping in technology, and the first form is credentialism. Now, what this means is that you are essentially being kept from accessing certain positions or certain fields or whatever because of your credentials. And credentials are things like certifications or degrees. That is something that was very, very pervasive a few years back. Now, with big companies realizing that degrees really don't equate to success, companies like Microsoft and Google and so many others no longer require an actual degree to get a job. It doesn't mean that credentialism is still not applied. You see a lot of content creators who are really pushing certifications. And I've done it. I've made videos about certifications. Now, nowadays, especially in my niche, which is cloud computing, there is a lot of push towards certifications. You have to have certifications. You should get this certification to get this job. Now, I've made videos about certifications. I've made videos saying which ones you should get. Now, that doesn't mean that I think they're awesome and you should do that. I've also made videos saying that certifications suck. So when you see content like that saying this is the certification you need to get, this is a form of credentialism. Certifications are not necessary. Certifications may be required in jobs, may be required in whatever, but they're not necessary. And I highly encourage you, when you see job posting that say you need a certification that you don't have, to still apply for that job, because just because it's on somebody's wish list doesn't mean that they're not gonna hire you because of it. Now, the second one is overemphasis on some tools and technologies. I've had people coming into my comment section saying, oh, your content is misleading. You have to have AWS. You have to have Linux experience. You have to have DevOps experience. You have to have all this stuff. And that is an example of gatekeeping. All these tools, all these technologies that you have to have, you 100% do not have to have them. And I speak from experience. I don't have experience in AWS. Can I do stuff in AWS? Yes. Do I have experience? Can I say that I can master AWS? No. Because here's the thing. Technologies and tools come and go. Technologies and tools come and go. So saying that one tool is required and you absolutely have to have it is preposterous and ridiculous. Because in 10 years, that may not be a tool that you need. What you need to have in technology and any other field for that matter is the ability to adapt and learn new things. That's it. That is the level of gatekeeping that should be enforced in technology. You should be able to learn new things and adapt to new things, because that is the constant in technology. New things come, new things get developed, and old things get replaced. Now, of course, some people with outdated knowledge can still get a job because they have to maintain outdated systems. So again, adapting to new things is also not a requirement to be in technology. So when you see people saying that you have to have certain skills to get into technology, take it with a grain of salt. At the same time, in the defense of creators, because I have done it, I have said you have to have these. Also understand that some of this content saying that you have to have, you must, or this is what you need to do, are created to satisfy the algorithm, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Google, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube or what have you. There's a lot of creators out there, me including, I've done it, who have to make videos, make content that satisfies the algorithm. So just because a creator says you have to have these does not mean they're gatekeeping. It just means that, sometimes you have to bend over to the will of the algorithm. Now, I try in my videos to say that this is not the full extent. You should learn new things. You should explore other things. This is not the only way. But some people don't do that. And I may not do that in all my videos. And so whenever you see these videos, add this disclaimer in your mind. Number 3 is ignoring diverse experiences. There are so many ways to get into tech, to do tech, that we should look at tech and promote tech in a very diverse way. One person's experience will be different than the other. If you see channels on people promoting people who keep looking like them, that keep doing reinforcement bias, meaning that, what I say, I invite people who say the same thing and we keep all saying the same thing. When you see reinforcement bias, try to spot it. Try to understand that technology is more than just this one specific example. You don't have to know programming to get into tech. You don't have to know AWS to get into Azure. You don't have to know Linux to get into DevOps. There are so many different experiences and needs all over the world for so many things that only having tunnel vision and only seeing one thing in the tech world can get you to a mindset of thinking that there is only one way to get and exist in the tech world. I will also caution you that content creators, their lifestyle is not real, right? Content creators give you either content that makes you angry, content that makes you happy, or content that makes you jealous. That's really about it. And so you don't see a lot of content creators' life. You don't see the ups and downs. You just see what they want to show you. I only show you what I want to show you. It's just the way humans are. So when you see something that is just too perfect to be true, it probably is. And number 4 is the lack of accessibility. So content creators who make content that is geared toward experts will make a lot of people think that they're not cut out for it. And that is somewhat on purpose. All the jargon, all the abbreviation, all these things are unnecessary. The technical details in technology are unnecessary. And it is important for content creators like me to make as much of the tech world accessible to as many people as possible. that is one of my goals with this channel. That is one of my goals in life, is to tell people that just because something looks complicated and difficult does not mean that it is not for you. It is content that is intimidating on purpose. And sometimes, for people who really don't have a brain that works in a way that comprehends technology easily, and it's not a criticism for anyone, technical content can seem overwhelming. And that is because it is. Technical content is aimed at technical people. And one thing that I want to do with my channel is to try to bring technical content to non-technical people. Because as somebody who understands the technical content, I can tell you that most of what is presented is non-necessary. It is unnecessarily complicated for anyone to understand. So when you see this cool thing, right, and you're like, wow, I wonder if I could do it. And then you go and dig deeper, and it's super complicated and crazy and so much jargon. That is a form of gatekeeping. That is a form of creating content that is not accessible for everyone. Now, one thing I want to point out about this, and pretty everything I've said before, is just because something is gatekeeping does not make it something that people do on purpose. It doesn't mean that people are trying to keep people out. It is a mentality. It is something that just happens in the tech world. It's some people are kept out. Just like people not thinking of different exercises for people with different abilities, right? It's just not the vast majority of people who they see. It's not what they've experienced. And so when a trainer designs a workout, it's really aimed at people who have access to a gym, who are fit, who can handle it, who have done it for a while, right? It is not something that you can think, oh, they're trying to keep people, obese people, out of the gym. No, they're just not thinking of them, right? They're just doing what they've done because they've done it and because the industry does it. And it's not necessarily on purpose. So removing the gate, lifting the gate, opening the gate, however you want to phrase it, is something that has to be a conscious choice, that has to be deliberate, because so much of the gatekeeping that happens in the technology world is really just by design. It's really just because it's been done this way forever. And I don't know that anyone is explicitly trying to gatekeep. Even the haters in my comment sections will say that you have to have AWS, you have to have Linux, you have to have DevOps, you have to have blah, blah, blah to get into cloud engineering. I don't think that is necessarily malicious, that it's explicitly to gatekeep, but it is something that has been said, that has been repeated, that is so pervasive in the tech world that it just gets echoed in so many places by so many people, regardless of whether or not they actually understand and know what they're saying. So if you are a tech person and you've watched this video up until here, it is our mission. It is our goal. It is something that we should be doing as people in the tech industry. We need to point out gatekeeping. We need to say, no, this is not the only way. Because the more we do this, the more we say no, the more we push back against gatekeeping, the more people can come in. The more people who would have never considered technology can come in. Like, so many people, I love hearing the stories of all these people who have non-traditional backgrounds in technology, that come from different world. They were a mechanic, they were a garbage man, they were a chef, they were a teacher, all these people who are non-traditionally the people that would get into tech, coming in, succeeding and thriving, and showing others that you can do it. There's not one way. There's so many ways. There's an infinite amount of ways that people can come in, and that everyone brings something to the table. Whether or not they have the classical background of a tech person. And we also have to create content that is aimed at these non-classical people. And we have to open the door to these people who are not the classical tech people. We have to make them feel welcome. We have to tell them that they belong in this world. And sometimes it means creating opportunities for people who wouldn't. And if you're somebody who feels like technology is not for you, that you've been gatekept, that, whatever twists and turns you go through, you get blocked, don't despair. There is a place for you in tech. There is a place where you will benefit. You will contribute and you will make technology better because you're different, because you're breaking the mold. And as much as it sucks, once you're in, once you start chipping away at the mold that people see for technology, the more these gatekeeping and these barriers will come down. And it will make room for so many beautiful people to come in and make this feel better.